one night, one stage, one epic band. My Chemical Romance at Target Field, August 24th. Grab your tickets before they're gone. Get all the details today. KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
What's going on, Kevin?
Like Fort Knox getting into this place. Honestly, I could rob a bank easier than I can get access to the KFAN studios.
Well, thank you.
You guys are not that important.
Thank the 9 to noon host. But Kevin Falness, Wild Audio Network, joining us, and at Radio Falness via X. Yeah, well, it's just changes in the air. Do you appreciate the fresh coat of paint?
Everything looks fantastic. If you can get in here.
Oh, you haven't seen? Have you seen the new little gathering area? We got a nice little kitchen nook.
The last time I saw it, I think it was either the sales table or the intern table, and they were all down. And the Common was doing a free show, and I think that's the last time the last time I saw it. I don't think Abbott or Lil B had a desk yet. Has that been rectified?
That has been rectified.
Okay. So I haven't seen how cool their offices look or anything like that. I'll have to take a tour.
See, it's a workspace and it's a public environment, so it's not necessarily, I guess you kind of got to get over the idea of having some form of privacy.
Yeah.
But the new thing now where we have these like standing workstations, I think about people that are in an office every day, and it's not that everyone needed their own physical office. But how about like just a nice cube where you can hang up a picture of the fam, and maybe you have a little mini lava lamp. You got like some, a troll doll or something like that.
Candles.
We would joke about you during our lunch breaks, but at least you made it your own. And now everything's glass. Yeah. Everything's kind of sleek. And you're
no
trying
privacy.
It's more people in what feels like a smaller space.
Yeah.
And so I kind of feel for people that kind of get shoehorned into those sorts of environments and still have to be uber productive 8 hours a day, every day.
Feels like there's no privacy for the amount of yelling that people do at each other in this place. There's no place to go to for a enclosed space to be yelled at. Right, Breton? I mean, you get yelled at on a daily basis. Where are you going to go to get yelled at from now on?
I don't think about it. I got to walk across. I just got yelled at for having water in here.
And it was actually your own water.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, the show that precedes 9 to noon just kind of sometimes has a garbage problem.
Yeah, and I know who public enemy number one is, and he might not be on the billboard, but he's a key part of that program. But I know how he treats the Bob Kurtz Radio Center. Yeah. Like a baby treats a diaper.
We don't step foot in there.
Yeah, we try. Well, you kind of used to be in a fishbowl there too. Speaking of a lack of privacy.
Yep.
But yeah, when I go over there and Abbott's just chewing me out about something, either maybe it is my fault, maybe it's just something by nature of how things go that I have no control over. I don't even get to hide behind a wall.
Yeah.
It's straight up in glass, and you can hear it throughout the office.
Everyone can see you crying, tears running down your face.
There's a little tear. Sometimes it gets emotional because it gets personal.
Yeah.
I mean, we all, you do this long enough, you kind of lose your shame at some point, but still, your dignity matters. And, when I get screamed at, I want to do it behind a wall.
I agree.
So maybe frosted glass at the least. It's just,
that's what they did in the Bob Kurtz Radio Center. I've got these two great studios. One where I can do my post game from, one where the board is at, and then there's this giant window looking out upon the Audi Quattro Club is where it's called, where the on the glass beautiful people are. There's a big glass window there, but they frosted it over. So this big glass window, I can't see anything. It's the most pointless window ever.
Was it awkward because didn't they have like the buffet? It's not small, but they had the buffet. So you're sitting there, you're trying to do a fan line segment.
Yeah.
And you're watching somebody just mashing on mozzarella sticks.
I didn't ask for them. They don't do mozzarella sticks there, by the way. But
prime rib. I'm sorry.
Whatever it might be. You've seen it. The
surf and turf. It is the ice cubes, the
ice sculptures. The shape of a swan or Nordy's mullet, whatever it is. It's right outside that window. But now I can't see it because they frosted over that glass. Like within the first week of finishing that studio, finally they frosted that glass, so it's like a rumor that there's stuff going on the other side. But that's fine. I get it. I'm not pleasant to look at, so we just frosted it over.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's the pizza sauce in the crook of your mouth, and then Micheletti's just being super loud about something. Korean baseball bet went the wrong way or something. So I totally get it. You know what's going the right way though?
Tell me.
We get 2 extra games this year, just for the fun of it, Mr. Falness.
I think that's great. I think losing 2 extra preseason games is 10 times more important. That to me is the win here. Like we've had preseasons, their schedule has been up to 9 games at times.
Yeah.
And now to get it down to 4, 2 home, 2 away, get in, get out. It's not great for development. It's not great for the young guys battling for a roster position. But for those of them out there that have done that, been there, done that, that's fantastic. 4 games, get in, get out, a little minor training camp, and let's get into when it counts.
Well, we'll get to the point with the schedule, and we'll do the cursory, like, what do you like? They open up in Nashville. Ooh, is that a good stretch or a tough stretch? Hey, we're a little, might you say, heavy on the road games early. Could that bode well for later in the season? We'll do all of that. But now you brought something up, and you had Chad Greenway in, and we're talking about Vikings training camp. We got a QB competition. Is it real? Is it just unintentionally rigged, the way that I look at it? Right or wrong, we'll get an answer to it. But it does feel, and maybe hockey's similar, maybe it's different. When we talk about the Vikings preseason, it used to be the 4th preseason game was where either a guy's hopefully going to put something on tape for a special teams tryout with another squad, or they're battling not to be on the main roster, not to play on Sundays, but to be on the practice squad. And so you talk about the NFL preseason in a very just obligatory bump in the road that we all just have to deal with and get over before we get to the meat of it, and that's the season, the games that count. It is that similar in the NHL, where when Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores go to Egan here, and we really get things moving. By the end of that final preseason game, the roster is, I would say before kickoff of that final preseason game, the roster's already been set for multiple days. Mm-hmm. There might be one player who busts out and it's like, oh, okay, well, he could be a 3rd string corner. Sure, that's perfect. And then maybe he can do this on special teams. So those stories exist. They already figured it out. They're probably out of 53 spots. They probably know who 49 of them are, even right now, before camp starts. Is that similar in the NHL? The obligatory, we're going to ramp up. Maybe 1 or 2 have some substance to it, but really just get this freaking thing over with.
I think as the roster is set right now, you have a pretty good idea who's going to be where and how the roster is going to shake out. But there are a couple of young guys that training camp and the preseason schedule is going to be pretty important to them, whether they make the roster on opening night or not. Stramel, Haight, I mean, these are guys that are battling for positions in this lineup.
While you look at this team.
Well, that's it. I mean, you don't know, because of those holes that are left to be filled. You got Tarasenko, you got Johansson, you got Zuccarello. 3 of your top 6 are off the roster as it stands. I don't think Tarasenko's coming back, but as of yet hasn't signed anywhere. But so those are positions that have to be filled potentially by some of those young faces if another trade isn't made between now and September, whatever. So those are pretty important. That's a pretty important stretch for young guys like that. I mean, Micheletti tells me Stramel is destined for the National Hockey League on opening night. No question about it, is going to be a center on this roster. I don't know that I buy that with only a 4-game preseason and a truncated training camp. He'd have to come in there and really wow him. He's never played at pro hockey at this level, so I don't know. These are going to be important week and weeks for these young guys.
Well, and it's interesting. I guess we'll just continue down this road. So, Stramel, whether you have whatever your level of faith is, it just feels like it's kind of crazy how, despite being different teams in different leagues within the same city, that they are suffering maybe from similar ails. And with the Wolves and Wild right now, simply it's a depth situation. So, you make this big play for LaMelo Ball if you're the Wolves. But the way you're looking at things now, addition by subtraction, the way they look at it, maybe moving on from Julius Randle, it's like, well, what about the depth? And now a coach that really never plays young cats is going to have to look at his first draft pick in Isaiah Evans here. He's going to have to look at Yohan Beringer and maybe put him in some spots where he's not comfortable, and they'll get minutes maybe they wouldn't have gotten in years past out of necessity. Right now, we're just on the tips of our toes, edges of our seats, waiting, this Dylan Larkin thing.
Yeah.
Can it happen? And what does that mean? we're watching a lot of dudes go out the door, man.
Yeah.
And we haven't replaced them with the requisite talent. And we are getting closer to the summer. We're getting, you love the state fair. You're pumped for that.
Yeah.
It feels like state fair weather outdoors. Maybe this bodes well for the fair itself. So we get the heat wave out of the way before we get 1 million people standing shoulder to shoulder. But that's kind of where, a Stramel kind of has to. And I don't think Heinze and company look at it that way, but it feels like that as a fan. It's like, well, he kind of has to be a center on opening night. He kind of has to step up because we're in a precarious position right now, just depth and roster wise.
I don't know that he has to be. I mean, you've got 4 legitimate options there already on staff. And again, this is saying if there isn't another move to be made, your center depth is okay. Would love to bolster it. And of course, you add a Dylan Larkin in there, then everything else is going to fall into place accordingly. And most likely that means Urov and potentially Stramel are gone. They're going to head on off to Detroit. But I'll tell you, the one thing that the Wild have going for them is they have 3 legit superstars on the roster as we speak that you're building around. Oh, yeah. And you can put an asterisk by Brock Faber. Some will argue that. I'd put him in that class as well.
I think Faber's a star.
Kaprizov, Hughes, Boldy, and probably Faber. I mean, that's a pretty solid nucleus to build around, right? So
and Urov.
Urov is knocking on the door. He's still young and loose, and needs to figure out a way to. Yeah, and the Foligno brothers on the 4th line with McCarron. You got your 4th line all locked down, and that's going to be.
What about the Tonka Torpedo, Bobby Brink?
Bobby Brink is another guy that's knocking on the door.
That's not actually a nickname of his. I was looking for something alliterative.
Yeah, Bobby Brink to the rescue. That doesn't rhyme either, but. There's some potential with this roster.
It's awful.
I'm just excited to see where it goes. What happens, over the next couple months. Bill Guerin's, I don't think he's done.
No, I don't think he is.
I just wonder, everyone's talking about Dylan Larkin. I just wonder the fact that Steve Yzerman is out. Are they going to mend that bridge now? And is Larkin now going to be off the table? That's going to be the big question mark. Coming into the guy that they had circled in red ink.
Okay, well, what about this, Mr. Falness? Do we believe that Steve Yzerman is the reason that a trade request was made?
Yeah, they don't get along. I mean, I don't know that firsthand. That's everything I've read. They don't get along. And there was, consternation between the two of them. I don't think Larkin gets along with Yzerman. Apparently didn't see his plan and wanted out. Wanted to pull the chute. Was sick of missing the playoffs.
Well, how quickly can you regenerate a plan that goes the other way?
Exactly.
Right at this stage of the summer, even if Yzerman was the guy, the entire reason. So Larkin's chilling, team's kind of making hay, they're on the come. But we've been talking about the Red Wings potentially being a force in the East for like half a decade now. Yeah. Look at the way they're drafting. Look at the way they're developing, and Larkin just keeps chugging along. Even if new guy in the mix just sits down, they have a coffee and a baguette together. What a terrific afternoon in downtown Detroit. And here's the plan. Well, that's not a thing that's going to happen anytime soon.
I don't know.
And so that's where, I'm just curious because I've heard both ends of it. It's like now that Yzerman's gone, that the dam that has been put up in terms of stubborn Stevie Y not going to move on Larkin unless it's a lion's share, that he was the issue that has been delaying this, that's a good thing. But now I'm hearing kind of the idea, well, a fresh face and some sweet whispers in his ear, and suddenly he's ready to finish out his contract and career with the Red Wings, despite a plan that even if it changes is years down the road still.
Well, again, not breaking news, but I know less than nothing. I'm not going off of anything other than what my Spidey sense told me. When I heard Yzerman was stepping down, I thought, oh crap, this is a bridge to a way to mend that bridge between the Wings and their captain Dylan Larkin. I don't know what the conclusion is going to be to this deal, but I don't think it happens before the start of the regular season. I think it happens sometime, the trade that comes down. And hopefully Detroit falls short. They don't get Patrick Kane back. Maybe they get out of the gate super slow. And
would you like Kane on this team?
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. I don't think it'd be any worse than having Vladimir Tarasenko, and I like Tarasenko.
Could you get over the stanchion? Could you get over 100%. All those times that
if
he
I can
broke
get over
hearts?
Brett Favre, I can get over Patrick Kane.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right? I mean, come on.
Man, I loathed Brett Favre.
Yeah, I did too. Hated him.
Just an absolute turd.
Could you have done Aaron Rodgers in a Vikings uniform?
And I loved him. Yeah, I mean, see, that's where...
I'd rather have Favre.
Yeah, well...
Today.
No, you know, the 16-year-old Nordo would have had an immense issue with it. So... Not everyone listening to 9 to Noon, not everybody that loves the Minnesota Vikings is 41 and has reached a certain level of bitterness to where it's just wake me up when the trophy presentation takes place.
Are you 41?
Yeah.
What has happened to your youth?
I have aged poorly. Bad choices. We are the sum of our choices.
Yeah.
But so 16-year-old couldn't have dealt with it. If I would have been 16 in the 09 season, I would have had an incredible, emotionally immature, moral dilemma with the whole thing. Now, how old was I at that point? I would have been 20. Yeah, I was 24-ish, I think. Yeah, I was out there trying to help my buddies start. Do you remember the cottage industry that took place with like the cheap knockoff Favre jerseys? And people were selling them outside of the Metrodome. Oh yeah, people, like, here's a Favre jersey for $30-$40, and it was something that it was fresh off the cargo boat. Effectively, the numbers peeling off the moment you buy it. And it's got like a blaze orange collar on it, just these misprints from China, and they just slapped the number 4 and Favre on there, and here we go. And they ended up, I think, having to go out of their way. The Vikings may have had to like ban people from selling those on the property. But at 24, I was, let's just go win a title. Let's just go win a Super Bowl.
Of course.
And I'm even more so now. I can't think of, outside of maybe like personal things. Like, Deshaun Watson, I'd be quite fine with him not being my quarterback.
Sure.
That's one example. But other than that.
But you'd have no problem with the Patrick Kane on your Minnesota Wild, despite the memories of how he and Taves and the rest of them used to haunt the Minnesota Wild.
No, I love it. And as a guy that loves this team and as a guy that follows it, I follow the Wild incredibly closely and emotionally during the season. I can't pretend that I'm out there with the mites and we're pond hockeying at any point during the time. I have weak ankles and I can barely skate backwards. I have like 4 opinions in hockey, and one of them is Patrick Kane is the best American skater ever. I think it's never been better than Patrick Kane. It's him and Modano, and Modano has the Minnesota.
Mayasic. There's some other guys that can be in the conversation, but I get what you're saying.
I think Patrick Kane is as good as it's ever been. He is
recency bias,
unfreaking believable, and absolutely, because I lack the history, because I did not grow up thinking about Housley and Mayasic and some of those things. I went to one North Stars game, and I think it was a 10-3 win over the Sharks, and that was 92-ish, 93-ish.
Wow.
So. And then I've been locked in on the Wild since they've been here, but I would love Patrick Kane on this team.
I'd have no problems exercising the ghost of the Stanchion, Brizgalov, and all the ways they used to. Again, if you can get over the hurdle of having Brett Favre in a Vikings uniform, you can get past the fact that Patrick Kane is shunning the Blackhawks, the Red Wings, original 6 franchises, and coming to the Minnesota Wild and donning the mullet. They're wearing a Wild uniform. It'd be pretty cool.
The only thing I would ask, and I'm not a person that really takes advantage of my access, but part of my access here at the Fan is we get to do those shows at TRIA.
Yeah.
And it's just so much fun, and Sicky and Jackson, and those just so good to me, good to the show over the course of time. But if he did come here, I'd have to get ice level for him to just handle the puck for just like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
just
like he's doing one of those shootouts that last 30 minutes.
Just one of the bits. Yeah, exactly. We could spend it with the way he slow rolls some of those shootouts. We could spend an entire segment doing play-by-play, segment killing season, hockey season as it is. I would love him. It's just, but yeah, following that, filling holes on this team. You mentioned Tarasenko's out of the mix, Detroit. So up in the air, like we've talked about them finding those next steps, and they absolutely laid eggs to end the season with the playoffs basically in their hand.
Yeah.
And so whatever happens moving forward, Larkin, it still feels like he's out there. Maybe he's attainable.
I don't think the dream is dead. I really don't.
I don't think it's dead either. And maybe this is too conspiratorial, but I just think of the way that Billy G operates. And many people have used this. I'm not new to it. 97, Kirill.
Yeah.
Big deal coming. Yeah, it's going to get done. Well, no, can you elaborate on that, Mr. Good? Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I've talked to, yeah, it's all good. Well, have you seen him in person? They'll be back at some point. Okay. Well, so we
calm, cool, and collected.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And then I think it was the State Fair time last year, speaking of that. Yeah, deal's done.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
And, it's 17 per, and there's, there was some gasping at the numbers, but it was done. Now that it feels like all the waves of the rumor mill have wafted, they have pivoted from a Dylan Larkin, will it get done, to, we're working on an extension for Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, right.
When it gets quiet, Billy G pounces.
And it's quiet.
And it is dead quiet.
Nothing going on. Since July 2nd. I mean, there's been, what are we at now, the 17th? There's been nothing going on. It's crazy. Usually the dead time, the downtime is August. August is an oasis of just nothingness. It started a month and a half early.
Well, I don't know if August is going to be so quiet for Billy G and the Minnesota Wild. Who knows? Who knows? But when it's quiet, he pounces.
Beware.
And until proven otherwise, because and make no mistake about this, regardless of whether it's Larkin, now we'll get back to the more serious real world side of it, we do need to add 3 or 4 bodies. And it's not necessary, again, and I mostly am with you, it doesn't require a Stramo, but you kind of get my point where we have some holes to fill in this particular process here. And it could be Larkin, which is super exciting. It could be something, more of the Michael McCarron type variety that maybe provides some oohs and some along the way, but I don't think Billy G's finished this summer by any stretch.
No, not by any stretch. I don't think that there's a ton of holes to fill. They could certainly use upgrades, and if that happened, but I think if this was your roster going into opening night, I think you'd be fine with it. Like I said, I think the center depth is about the same what it was last year, with a potential boost from a Stramo. You got a Hunter Haight that's waiting in the wings as well for his opportunity to shine.
Okay.
Your defensive core is set. Your top 4 is going to eat up all the minutes, assuming Jonas Brodin is healthy, and there's no reason to think that he won't. And then you throw, an Ali Mata is going to be there. You got Bogosian healthy, and you got Damon Hunt waiting for his opportunity, much like a Hunter Haight is. So, and then the goaltending situation is what it is. You got Volstead as your number 1 right now, while Gustafson's on the shelf, and you got Picard ready to back him up. I don't think there's a huge amount of holes to fill, but certainly upgrades would not be frowned upon.
I'm just going to miss Kevin Gord and a shirtless Middleton doing chats during the intermission.
Yeah, Middleton and Zuccarello too.
Did you ever go tarps off with Middleton for a radio interview?
So he would go tarps off. I would not.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's radio.
Oh.
You can pretend whatever you want. I can't help that. But he would definitely do tarps off for the radio crew, and it was whether you wanted it or not.
I think you should have went tarps off with them.
I don't think
show some solidarity.
I don't think anybody needs that.
No, it's just
I don't even like the tarps off when I shower.
Okay, well, you can't be the guy in the swimming pool with a T-shirt on. Okay,
I can.
If we are. Yes, you are free to
but I'll tell you, those are going to be, their contributions on the ice, of course, are what matters the most for Zuccarello and Middleton. But having those guys gone from the locker room environment, those are 2 of the guys that you went to after a loss. And sometimes it was one of their faults, unfortunately. But I think overall, you look at the body of work for Middleton in particular, it didn't end well. But I think his time here in Minnesota was a good one. I think you should remember him, not to the extent of Martin Skula. I think he was a very good defensive player there for the Minnesota Wild. You like the Martin Skula reference?
No, I do, and I'm just trying to scratch my brain. That's right. He's in Calgary now. Middleton. It was a net positive, but he had to go. And
unfortunately, because of the way it ended.
I hate to put it that way. Yeah. He was so god awful in that stretch. And
he was, and that's the weird thing. Him and Spurgeon were so good together most of the time over the last couple of years when they were playing together, and it just didn't work in the playoffs.
No,
for whatever reason. Even though you've got Hughes and Faber eating up a ton of the minutes, when Middleton was out there, it didn't work. Whatever was going on with him, it was just something wasn't working in the playoffs.
Oh, that stinks. Now, what do you think about this? Text line 64686.
Oh God.
You're Billy G for a moment.
Oh, God, okay? Yes, I like this.
3-team deal.
Here we go.
97 goes to Detroit.
Nope, I'm out.
Larkin and Jack Hughes to Minnesota. Minnesota and Detroit send pieces to New Jersey.
Yep. And how about I fly to the moon and plant a flag and build a sandcastle? It's not going to happen. Jack Hughes, this is a deal involving Larkin.
It's actually not as hard as you think, though.
Kaprizov and Jack Hughes.
Meat Sauce told me that the moon landing was fake. So you even have to fly to the moon.
Oh, my God. Conspiracies.
There's a lot of them flying around here.
Yeah, that's a fun fantasy hockey.
You're flustered
with your
by
buddies. It doesn't make any sense. That's not a possibility.
Okay.
So put that in your hat and wear it.
What I will say, though, I appreciate the creativity and the idea, courtesy of the texter who did not leave their name. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause. And no more conspiracy theories, no more what ifs or hypotheticals or how about this or 3-team deals. We're going to jump in, Kevin. We're going to jump in to the 2026-27 84-game wild schedule.
It'll be here before you know it. There's no hurry. It can get here slowly.
We don't
but
wish
when it gets
the
here, it's
summer
going to be
away.
a lot of fun.
It absolutely is.
But it does not have to hurry.
Kevin Falness, are you still Wild Radio Network, or have you evolved to the Wild Audio Network?
Oh, Nordo. It's the Minnesota Wild Audio Network. It's 2026. It's audio.
Keep KFAN a preset on that free iHeartRadio app. Brett Blakemore produces. I'm Nordo, and for PA, Falness continues on with us next, 9 to noon on The Fan.
The Fan at BigDeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks to the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is the color of the wild, green. The keyword green. KFAN.com. Keyword green.
You're listening to Eric Nordquist in for Paul Allen on The Fan.
From the 1-800 Ask Gary Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by...
On KFAN, we have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. It's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Enter keywords, learn more at KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by BigDeck.com.
All right, Kevin Falness, 84 games. We're talking
love it.
Every other league. I mean, baseball, it's like $1.64. Are you kidding me with this thing? Like, can we just taper this thing? Can we pare this back a little bit, please? Not the NHL. The money's coming in, salary cap's going up, and as part of that, there was probably an agreement that we're going to play a couple more games. So 84 regular season games. Russo, spoiling everybody's fun, probably tells everybody he gives gifts to on Christmas the day before what the gift is.
He gives anyone gifts.
Yeah.
Please. Cheapest guy on earth. Talk about preposterous. Guy won't even buy me a coffee. He comes down to my studio, rips the smell and the look at this brand new palatial studio, and he's going to buy people gifts around the holidays. Are you out of your mind?
Well, not when you talk about him like that. Russo's HOF.
He is. He's the best blogger in everyone. America's favorite blogger. That's what Brett calls him.
So, but he
Me? Well, you know what you call him.
Wild insider.
That's right.
She's got secrets.
I hope he blocks you guys on social media.
Oh, no. I still got Joe Smith.
You do have Wild Joe. That's right. All right. So he did say yesterday that, I think it was, or maybe even Wednesday night that they open up in Nashville October 1st. Wake up, it's the first of the month, and you're on Broadway. And onto the Bruins and the Sabres and Lightning and stuff. I'm not, this isn't deep diving into the framework of the entire schedule, but as I joked about last segment with you, Kevin, a lot of road stretches. A lot of road
that
stretches
first half
early
of the season, man. Holy moly.
Unfreaking believable. Yep. Where you jump out, you jump back, and then you're gone for 3. There's a 5-game stretch, which is effectively 7 of 8. You make the West Canada swing, and then you head home against the Islanders, and then you head immediately to the Capitals and to the Philly Flyers. I mean, this thing is just, it's kind of nutty, but if you can weather that road-heavy storm, things bode well for your favorite team playing in front of your favorite fan base as the season goes on. What, again, just in general purview, what sticks out to you about the 26-27 slate?
What sticks out to me is that road-heavy schedule leading into the first part of December. I mean, they're going to be on the road for a good chunk of that, and then they get to spend the holidays and practically, well, actually the entire month of December from the 5th on home ice, which is phenomenal.
That's a huge stretch.
Yeah, it's tremendous, and that's something that it feels like they're always either going to or coming back. Either going on a road trip, coming back from a road trip into the holidays, or going to one where they got to leave the morning of the 26th or whatever it is. And they don't have that this time. They get to spend all that time in Minnesota around the holidays, and then they don't even have a New Year's Eve game. I don't remember the last time we didn't have a New Year's Eve game.
Yeah, it's going to be New Year's Day. It'll be a New Year's Day 6 p.m. affair at Pittsburgh. They should just start doing this every year, because one thing that we had exactly the same way last year, a Black Friday game against the Colorado Avalanche. That is November 27th.
Yep.
And it's a 4 p.m.er, a little early. Oh, that's unbelievable.
I don't know what you're looking at, but that's 3 o'clock. And the one on New Year's Eve is at 5.
Okay, I got Eastern time.
Yep, Central. So, but regardless.
Okay, apologize. I know you've never made a mistake.
No,
before.
I'm just
unbelievable.
I was wondering if my schedule was incorrect. There's a couple of things that are. It seems like every year they've got the Black Friday game on the afternoon in St. Paul, and they had New Year's Eve leading into the big dropping of the ball in New York, and they only have one of those this year. They got the Black. I love Black Friday in St. Paul. It's outstanding, and I'm going to miss New Year's Eve. I will celebrate it, but then to have a road game on January 1st, that'll be fun for them, I guess.
But that was the big shootout win on Black Friday last year, where Jesper, the fist pump, and then Colorado.
Black Friday, yes.
Radio Vox went nuts,
lost his mind,
acting like he's winning the Stanley Cup.
When he, in fact, has not.
Gavin McGahey?
Connor McGahey.
Yeah. Man, I'm just off it right now. I love Connor's calls, though.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's really good.
He lives and dies on the wins and losses of a sweet hockey team.
If that's your team, you would love having that guy. It's the same thing with Mosier. Mosier is the TV guy for Altitude, and when he did radio, he was outstanding to listen to, unless you happen to be a fan of the opposing fan base. Then you can tell it's Homer vibe start to finish. They love their team, and you can tell it on every shot, every block, every penalty. They live and breathe their Colorado Avalanche. But he does a great job. But he was not a fan of the Jesper Wallstedt fist pump.
Yeah, I went to that Black Friday game last year, and I noticed I wasn't invited into the Audi Quattro Club to see the Smoky Glass.
Come on down.
Potentially the surf and turf. But hopefully this year at 3
they have
p.m.
standards. That's the problem.
Is going to be different. This is a little bit different, though, and it'll be interesting. I mean, at the Sharks, the second to last game of the season, but you look at the final stretch for the Wild, and we love the home heavy down the stretch. I think, let me see, 4 of their final 7 is on the road, but that's after a 5-game homestand as you get into mid-late March. But that final game at the end of the season is at Colorado. It is at Mile High. And in recent years, at least it feels like, and you can, again, correct me, as I've been so mistake-laden this segment, but whether it's the Anaheim Ducks, it's a non-playoff Blues team, we've kind of found ourselves in situations last few years where we're playing out the string against some potentially very winnable games, where this one against the Avs, bring your best, we'll bring our best. That could mean something in terms of the division at the end of the year.
It could. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully they've got everything locked up going into the month of March, and coming out of the Boys State High School hockey tournament, they're just fat and happy, coasting to the finish line and getting ready for the playoffs. But typically that's not the way it works, and we know that. And it'll probably come down to Colorado on game number 84 as a point of contention to either lock up a spot, get into the wild card, or potentially, who knows, seal down the division title. But
what you say it normally doesn't, but how about on the other end of the spectrum? So if you had to choose fighting for your life in April versus basically 8 weeks in advance, you knew you were going to play the Dallas Stars
every time.
That one every time.
Every time.
Totally agree.
Yeah, you don't want to get in by the skin of your teeth. That's not comfortable for anyone.
But did that impact things at all? Do you think?
Potentially.
Yeah. I think that's not measurable. But
no, what impacted them last year was the health of Jules Eriksson and Jonas Brodin.
And that's
if you have even one of them against Colorado in the second round, I still like their chances better than having neither of them. And we saw how it went with Colorado once they get dispatched to the Wild. They didn't have Makar, and they got bounced by the Golden Knights. I think, it woulda, coulda, shoulda. It would have been nice to have a full alignment there with those two guys in particular.
What an odd thud. I was talking about this earlier in the week where, and this is just, you can almost plug your ears because this is soccer related, but we were talking about Spain and France. And that Spain can be kind of grimy, where it's not pretty. It's not the most beautiful thing. They defend by just possessing. They're going to pass you to death. And if you can't take advantage of the handful of mistakes they make over the course of a game, you just have no chance. Yeah. But grimy hockey teams, would you consider the Hurricanes to be that? Would they be just kind of a tough, gritty, it's not always beautiful, but they constantly find their way over the finish line?
Yes, but they do have a lot of talent on that team, too, to help them and to offset what I don't think was the best. Well, I mean, Bussy ended up being a great goaltender, but going into the playoffs, you didn't like the combination of Anderson and whoever the other guy was. Proved to be pretty darn good tandem there, and especially with Bussy taking over to hoist the cup when it mattered most. A little grimy, but definitely have talent to offset it too.
The only reason that pops into my head here is because the Avalanche, with our injury situation, looked so much better than we did. You just had no chance. And the value of health in the playoffs, not breaking news with that. Similarly, the Vegas Golden Knights made Colorado look so pedestrian and so below them level-wise. And then we go to the Stanley Cup final where Carolina and Vegas mostly healthy for that series, by the way. Goaltending maybe caught up to them. I mean, we were averaging, it was overwhelming every game, 3-4 here, 4-5 there. But the combination of Bussy and so we continue to see that lower tier situation take place in every graduating series. Vegas just embarrassed Colorado. And then Carolina, in some ways, I thought embarrassed a mostly healthy Vegas team over the course of that series and frustrated them into L's on a nightly basis.
I would have put big money that the Stanley Cup was coming out of the Central Division. Out of one of those three teams, I would have thought, and to think that
none of us
they didn't
were
even make it. And that's the problem. As beat up as the Wild were, then you look at Colorado. If they could have got out of Game 5, if they could have got out of Game 4, Game 5, forced a 6 or a 7, and they don't have Makar, and they have a banged up Nathan McKinnon, I mean, that's a different series, and that's, was their downfall against the Vegas Golden Knights. They just weren't healthy, and not having Makar is a huge hole in their lineup.
What about Austin Matthews? You like him?
Yeah, you want to go get him? I don't think he's on the block.
Okay.
It's worth a try. Like we
You're
saw.
just so pessimistic about this team trying to get better.
I'm not pessimistic at all.
These are just listeners that are trying to potentially improve our hockey team.
That's great. I'm dealing in reality
about the team, Kev.
I'm not negative. I'm dealing in reality. Yes, it'd be great. It would be awesome to resurrect Gordie Howe. I don't know that that's realistic. It would be awesome to go out and get Mario Lemieux in his prime. Unrealistic. It would be cool. I hope that I still hold firm that I think that something's going to get done at some point, and I think it'll be Dylan Larkin, but I don't think it'll be before the start of the regular season. And I think there should still be hope that something can be done, a la Quinn Hughes in the middle of December last year, and we know what that did for the organization.
When it's quiet, he pounces.
Rawr.
That's Billy G. Thank you, Kevin.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It was great to see you. That's Kevin Falness, Minnesota Wild Audio Network at Radio Falness via X. News is next, and you're listening to 9 to noon on a Friday here on The Fan.
You're listening to Nordo in for PA on The Fan.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Presented by
Time for News du Nord. News du Nord is brought to, let me check out my NASCAR jacket here. It's brought to you by The Casino at CanterburyPark.com. Live racing usually in play, but it's a rodeo weekend. It's going to be a rodeo at Canterbury. And so what we have going on this weekend, you can learn more at CanterburyPark.com. And then poker, blackjack, and table games, feeling the felt all year long. Check it out, CanterburyPark.com for more details. Where are we headed to first, Brett?
Well, where else?
Number 1.
When this tournament started, I thought we're going to have...
We're talking about the Open at Royal Birkdale?
No, we're not. We will.
Oh. Which tournament?
We have basically 5 weeks to just milk the crap out of it, you and me. And it's over after this weekend. You have your watch party. You'll have the third place game tomorrow and the championship or the World Cup final on Sunday. So that's what we'll talk about.
Yeah, Boardwalk and Shakopee for an absolute party on Sunday, indeed.
Exactly. So Spain and Argentina is your final. We talked about yesterday just the absolute embarrassing collapse that England had in the semifinal.
It was an English collapse of the ages, yes.
Absolutely. So they take on France in the third place game that absolutely no one wants to play in. So there you have it. World Cup, the last 4. They play the opposites, essentially. You're down to the final. Your thoughts?
You know, well, I've never thought of this, and I'll bring it up over the course of the next the final stretch here, because my buddy John's going to be in studio. We're going to talk about youth sports development. We're going to talk about that English collapse of the ages. That is, again, nothing short of embarrassing.
Can we re-rack the Jamie O'Hara bit?
You know what? We will. Why not? It's a Friday. You found it. I didn't know you spend so much free time listening to British radio. But
sometimes.
I'm thankful for it, and you found an elite nugget. I've never thought about this before. The third place game is terrible.
Yeah, why do they do it?
It is frustrating. Well, somebody's got to be in third place. We got to decide.
Yes.
Well,
so the answer is money.
Let's be professional. It's one more game with pride. So France and England, do your thing. I mean, I don't even know if they go. Do they go with full fresh lineups?
I was about to say, is Mbappe playing?
They probably do.
That's what I'm thinking.
And frankly, France and England. If I'm either one of them, I'm still sour, no doubt. But if I'm France, I still want to put 4 on England. And if I'm England and I'm Bellingham. If anything, this might sound stupid, Bellingham or Kane, it's like, can I notch a couple more World Cup goals? I know that can get ugly and seem trivial, but World Cup stats matter, those sorts of things. These guys are prideful dudes. This is the last real stage they're going to be on until they start working for their respective clubs. I think it'll be full force on Saturday. So, but I still don't care about it.
Yeah.
It's over for them.
And if I'm
all I care about is Sunday.
If I'm Harry Kane, I'm not old, but I'm certainly not young. Why am I playing in this third place game that doesn't mean anything when I can rest a little bit more and get ready for my season in Germany? Where you make your money. That's what I'd do.
What's an extra day of rest going to do for a guy that has really, positioned himself? You'll talk about Harry Kane, probably top 3-ish, top 5 performers at the World Cup stage when it's all said and done for him. And I even saw something, Harry Kane's like, thinking about or seeing Messi at 39. And by no means do I believe Harry Kane can be 39 and still producing at his personal peak level the way Messi is performing at his. But the way he plays, the position he plays, this doesn't have to be his last World Cup. So I think you should go out, find another penalty, find another tally on Saturday.
He certainly loves doing that.
But I'm not going to watch it because I don't care. I don't care about who's third and who's fourth. I care about whether Messi is going to provide the greatest final act that we could potentially ever dream of for a guy that's already basically, in Argentina, that I think there's still people in Argentina that argue Maradona, if he didn't have kind of the extracurricular bits, that he was actually as good, if not better, than Messi. But for him to get that second World Cup this way, literally carrying the entire team, the Enzo Fernandezes of the world, who aren't bad players by any stretch. He plays for Chelsea, in fact. He's a good player. He ain't what he is with Messi. And the way these guys lift their level to meet this guy, the way they look at this guy, for him to end up on top would be incredible. The other end of it, and this is going to be boring for people because Messi's Messi. Everyone knows who Messi is. They're going to be bored with the idea that Oyarzabal some dude that plays for Real Sociedad. Nobody even knows where the hell that is, who's got 30-some goals for his country. This band of, they're kind of a motley crew, not of misfits, good players again, but Lamine Yamal has not shown up the way that you wanted the young star to this tournament, the way Mbappe did as an 18 or 19-year-old in 2018. He's just kind of part of the mix. And he causes frustrations and things. He's active. He can be dangerous, but nobody's chasing legacies with Spain the way that Messi is. And so, but to that end, I'm still incredibly surprised. You're getting on FanDuel Sportsbook, you're getting 2.5 to 1 for Argentina to win. You're getting 2.5 to 1 on Messi to win in regulation against the heavily favored Spaniards. Just something to think about if you happen to live in a place where you can place wagers that Messi finds his way one more time.
Which we don't. Couple other notes. Mauricio Pochettino said he would make a decision regarding his future as U.S. men's national team head coach next week. He's in talks with U.S. Soccer for an extension through the 2030 World Cup.
I like him.
Also, winners of the World Cup this year will be awarded championship rings in addition to the trophy and gold medal, just to make it a little more American. Yeah. So good for them.
We like rings.
Also, the Open is
something to pawn off if things go south later in life.
Exactly. The Open. Lucas Herbert. Who?
Aussie. Oi.
He's 8 under through 2 rounds. He is your leader. Jackson, I'm going to go with Suber, Cameron Young, Sam Burns, Matt Wallace round out the top 5.
Well, hold on.
Scotty Scheffler, 3 under, T13 right now is what I've got.
Well, okay, but you're selling Herbert short. I just wanted to do Aussie,
Yes.
oi. Yeah, he's 8 under through 2 rounds. He was 8 under today.
Yeah.
And he was 9 under, and I think he bogeyed 18, but he has emerged from obscurity like a freaking freight train. And so he's shooting a 62. I don't know what the record is there at Royal Birkdale. I assume I would have read something that said he set a record or tied a record. But an unbelievable round for Lucas Herbert, the Aussie, as we continue with day 2 of the Open. And, we had Rocco on yesterday, and you said he's just... You said that Scheffler is 3 under?
Yes, 3 under. He birdied 5, but he parred everything else today. So he's T13. He's
just
lurking.
One birdie. Okay.
Yeah, he's lurking, but he's got to get hot.
Absolutely.
Rory, by the way, is 1 under. He's already finished today. T39 for him.
Any other pressing bits as part of News to Nord?
I think we got it covered.
Okay.
Baseball's playing. LeBron says he's not ready to reveal his next team, so we're still waiting on that. We're going to milk that a little bit longer. Speaking of milking things, that's where we're at.
What if he likes us?
He could.
And maybe even if he likes us, he still goes to Philly or he still goes to Cleveland, he still goes to Miami. We do remain the best spot for him from a basketball standpoint.
100%.
Will he see it the same way? Cold winter nights in Minnesota. Like that matters. Barely ever here. Who cares about that stuff? We deserve it, is what we do. My next guest is shaking his head, but he's a Bucks fan, and they've completely dismantled his entire thing. He's still sour that the Greek Freak is now in South Beach. So we'll get through all the bitterness. Maybe we'll talk about German beer. We will talk about the beautiful game. And we'll talk about bronze soccer matches. Bronze on the line. 3rd place. Those games matter, too. John Bisworm in studio with me next. Final hour ahead, 9 to noon.
It's Eric Nordquist in for Paul Allen on The Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by